Alright guys, now we're going to define an ERP, how we measure them and why. ERP stands for Event Related Potential. And as the name suggests, it is going to be the electrical potential that we record in the brain, or from the brain, with EEG, related to an event. Makes sense here, right? So, here's our drawing from earlier, and this is the total EEG, right, which we know is actually the summation of rhythmic activity or oscillations in a number of different frequencies. But we're going to forget about that, and we're just going to look at the total EEG signal here, and we're going to pretend that we have an event. So I want you to imagine a person doing an experiment is watching the computer screen, and a picture of a tree flashes up. What an event-related potential would be is it would say, okay, let's look at the brain activity right at the moment that that tree flashes up. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to cut out, like let's say maybe 500 milliseconds or half a second of brain activity. So we're just going to take the brain activity that's occurring in the 500 milliseconds after the participant's shown that tree. And what we'll find out is how the brain is processing that event. In this case, an image of a tree. So we go ahead, we take that segment of EEG, and we focus in on it. And we notice that right here is when the tree comes in here. So here's our tree. I'll draw it in blue this time. And here is time 0, which corresponds to when the tree came. And here is 500 milliseconds. And so what we're going to notice is we're going to notice some specific crests and troughs in the EEG signal. Each of these little crests and troughs, or humps, are known as components, or event-related potential components, to be specific. And what we're interested in doing is looking at the size of these different components, because they can tell us something about the cognitive processes that are occurring related to seeing that picture of the tree. So for example, if you were someone who had a very strong love or very strong hatred for some reason of trees, then you might see the big hump at the end here, which is called the late positive potential, since it's positive going up and it's late, occurring, half a second after you see the tree. You might see a really big late positive potential. You might see that crest be really big, that component be really big. Conversely, if you felt kind of neutral about trees, didn't have a strong opinion one way or another, then you would see a relatively small late positive potential. Now, the late positive potential, as you might be able to guess, is associated with someone's emotional feelings about the event, the stimulus, in this case the tree. But there are a number of other ERP components that are related to things important for motor performance and learning researchers that are going to be more interesting. And we'll talk about those in a moment.